Hey drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Welcome to this free mini song lesson as suggested over on my Facebook page. Today I'm going to be showing you the main parts, the best parts from the song Got the Life by Korn, drums by David Silveria. And I've got both pages of the PDF available on my website for free. You can download both these pages from my website. You'll find a link to these PDFs beneath this video. So have these printed out in front of you as we go through this together. I've got 6 main parts, really cool beats and grooves that really define the song. I'm currently offering a 20% discount for my Facebook followers. I'm offering them 20% discount on online membership, the $97 online membership where you get access to all 450 of my full song lessons. You can check out my website for more details on that, but if you want to get your hands on the coupon code, then go over to my Facebook page. You see the post pinned to the top of the page. You can get the coupon code and save yourself 20% on becoming an online member. Okay, so let's crack on with the lesson. We've got the first part that occurs, and I'm obviously going off the album version. The music video version has like this cool little lo-fi sort of looped drum beat in the background, but we're going to start where the actual main drums come in at 0 seconds if you're listening to the album version. So it comes in with a flam snare drum on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. And then we're into our first drum beat, and it's sort of like a dance kind of thing. David is pumping the bass drums on all 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. With the snare drum on beats 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and he's playing the hi-hat on the ands of each beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on top of that he's opening the hi-hats every and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's how David's playing it. If you don't feel comfortable playing just on the ands, you can play all the 8th notes. That'll work just as well. It won't sound exactly the same, but that will get you through it. But if you want to play like David, then you just play on the ands. It gives those open hi-hats a bit more power, I find. So that's our verse drum beat, if you like. That gets played for 2 bars. Then the next line, we've got a crash cymbal occurring at the beginning of that bar. And I like to just show off and play the crash cymbal with my left hand, so my right hand doesn't move off the hi-hat, but you could use your right hand to play that crash. And then the last bar has this distinctive little drum fill that goes throughout the song during these verse sections. It comes down to the snare drum just after the and of 3 for 2 snare drum notes. And 4, and 4. That right hand was playing the hi-hat on the and anyway. And 4, and it comes down left, right into beat 4 on the snare. So that last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Really cool that, because what happens is the hi-hat still maintain that and. You come down to the snare drum and you're not missing any of those ands. So that open hi-hat gets maintained. It's maintained. So the last 2 bars of that section. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last bar 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1. So now let's hear all 5 of those bars up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So this next drum fill occurs at 14 seconds and it gets repeated a few times through the song as well. Very basic, but very effective. We've got this pattern on the snare drum. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. And that's a sticking last gesture you use. Right, right, left, right, right, left, right. It makes sense because you're playing the E's and the and the Ers with your left hand and the 1 and 2 and with your right hand. It just feels more comfortable. Underneath that, we've got the bass drum pumping on quarter notes, and you notice that the bass drums on 2 and 4 fall in the gaps that the hand made. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 4 E and. There's 5 notes in the row there. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. The final thing that David does is he puts a flam at the beginning on the first note. Then every time he plays that drum fill, he goes into the groove with the same idea every time. He plays 2 crash cymbals, snare drum on beat 1, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we get 1, 2. So he's playing the snare drum on both beats 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Then we go into our groove. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and another snare drum and crash on beat 4 of that bar. And he does those 3 crashes in those places every time he plays that drum fill. So those 2 bars together, 1 and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And now let's hear those 2 bars up to speed without the mic on. So this next instrumental section occurs at 39 seconds, just before the vocals kick in with the next verse. And in this example, we've got loads of good examples of the bass drum patterns that David plays. He plays a lot of bass drum stuff. So the groove, I thought I'd include the groove that goes into this new section as well, because it has a cool drum fill, which also gets repeated a few times. David just maintained that open hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Before, remember, we had that drum fill, 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. Well, we're just going to continue that over to the next note. 1 and 2 and a 3 E. So instead of playing and a 4, or in this case, and a 3, we're going to play and a 3 E ands. You're going to see the right hand naturally just rolls back up to the hi-hat to maintain that open hi-hat. 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. Just repeating beats 3 and 4 there. It's a really cool idea, very simple once you've got it down. 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and. Sounds more complicated than it is. 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and. Just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and just maintain that open hi-hat. So that's a cool little drum fill there. And then we go into this first section. The bass drum's pretty nuts. It was also very hard to hear exactly what David's playing because the bass guitar is so dirty and grungy and so deep in the mix that I might have been hearing a bass guitar note rather than a bass drum. They're both very similarly pitched. So it was hard to define sometimes some of the notes, whether that's a bass guitar or a bass drum. So this is my best attempt at transcribing what I thought he was playing here. But really with the 4 bars, you've got a good example where you can put all the bass drums. And so if I was playing onto this song with my band or to the song or in my bedroom, for example, here, then I wouldn't worry about getting note for note. I'd improvise with the bass drum, just like David does when he plays it live. This section is improvised. Anyway, so we're on the closed hi-hats and the first bar of the groove. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and 4 and. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and 4 and. Lots of cool bass drum patterns. So pretty advanced. Then we got the next bar, and I think he's playing this. 1, a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1. A little snare drum at the end, and a 1. 1, a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1. Next line, third bar, or fourth bar in this case. 1, a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1. And he plays a drag there. So before we had and a 1, now we have and a 1. It's just a doubled left hand. You could play as a single if you wanted to. So that bar, 1, a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1, and a 1. And then the hardest bar, the coolest bar really, the fourth bar, we get 1 and a 2, and then this bit, and a 3, and open hi-hat on the of beat 3, and 3 closes on its own on beat 3 with the hi-hat foot. That gives your hands time to come up, and David uses splash cymbals. I'm just going to use normal crash cymbals. Like yourself, probably you don't have 3 or 4 splash cymbals around your kit. Just, you know, you probably just got crash cymbals like me. So I'm going to use crash cymbals. That works just as well. You could use the bell of the ride cymbal instead if you wanted to. That can create that sort of splash high-pitched effect. I'm just going to use the crash cymbals though. So we get and a 3, E and a 4. E and a 4. The bass drum fits in that gap before the snare drum on beat 4, and I play it with my left hand. Really cool lick this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Ooh, 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4. You got to sort of hear it after a while. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4. It's hard to count it out loud at the same time. I'll play it properly for you in a second. Let me just play those five bars slowly, then I'll play it up to speed. So from the beginning, 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and 4. 1, a 2 and a 3 and 4. A 1, a 2 and a 3, 4. A 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4. And so lots of fun to play that. But you can see loads of bass drums variations. Throughout the song, he plays variations of those. So you basically got all the basic bass drum. Well, basic. You got all the bass drum patterns that David plays somewhere in those patterns. So let's just hear those. Let's hear that whole section played up to speed. Here we go. So then at 40 seconds, we've got another section, and really I include this for the double-handed hi-hat part in bar 4, which does get repeated throughout the song, but we've got a bit more bass drum, snare drum stuff leading up to it. So 3 more bars of improvised bass drum. He's not really sticking to a pattern very much, he's sort of improvising very much. So another 3 bars of example of David's bass drum variations. So the first bar, 1, a 2, a 3 E and. So that push on the of beat 2, 2 and a 3 E and. Then 4 and a 1, double at the end, a 1. Second bar, 1, a 2 and 3 and 4 E and, 4 E and 1. Next line, 1, a 2 and 3 and 4 and a. So at that point we're going to come up to the hi-hats and a 1, and we're going to go into double-handed hi-hat mode, but we go a 1 into the first section and a 1 into the last bar. And a 1, and the snare drum is going to play this: 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. It's coming down to the a 2 and a 4, that repeating idea from earlier on, the repeating motif. So David keeps that snare drum pattern for both beats. Underneath it though, he's playing some crazy bass drum stuff. So and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So bass drum's coming down with the left hand on the hi-hat because it's the E's or the U's. And a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. 4 E, a 4 E and a at the end. So let me play those 2 bars slowly. 1, a 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And now let's hear those 4 bars played up to speed. So straight after that previous section at 47 seconds, it's just these 2 bars, but it's really the second bar where David turns the snare drum around at the end that I wanted to show you. It's where the section where the vocals are playing every beat and a half. Da, 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 da. Well, that bit, David replicates that vocal part occurring and lays it up with the snare drum at the end. So I thought it was a really cool idea. So the first bar is standard stuff: 1, a 2, a 3 and 4. But then the second bar has that turnaround at the end: 1, a 2 and a 3 and a 4 E and. So the tricky bit is the end. And a 4 E and. No snare drum on 4, but it's the and a beat 4, emphasised with the open hi-hats. A 2 and a 3 and a 4 E and 1. A 2 and a 3. Both bars together. 1, a 2, a 3 and 4. 1, a 2 and a 3 and a 4 E and 1. And now those 2 bars up to speed. So then finally at 59 seconds we got this one-off drum fill that occurs, and I thought it was too cool to leave out. It's quite tricky, surprisingly tricky to play this, I found. So the first bob is the get your groove on bit. So the basic drum beat, open hi-hats, and they're slightly swung, these 16th notes. David plays 1 and 2 and a 3, and that's too much swung. In fact, I'm going to play them straight because the tempo, you can't really hear the swungness of it. We're basically playing 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1, 2 and a 3 and 4. 1, 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. And second bar continues. 1 and 2, and then from beat 2 you wait to play the next hi-hat. You don't play it on the ands. 1 and 2. You're then going to play the hi-hat on the of beat 2, closing into the snare drum on beat 3. 3, because it's already been open from the previous part. 3, and then you just basically got open, close, open, close, open, close 3 times in a row. 3 E and 4. 3 E and 4 E, and the bass drum ends it nicely with the E of beat 4. Quite hard to play this. 1 and 2, 3 E and 4 E and. Very weird. So both parts together. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 E and 4 E. And I did that a lot. I sometimes miss the place where the hi-hat was open, and I strike it at a different position, and I miss the open hi-hats. And that's slightly swung. I did find this very difficult to replicate. Sometimes I got a sloppy open hi-hat like that. David seems to be able to play it very cleanly. By the way, if you wanted to play it left, right, left, right, left, right, left, because your hi-hat's over here, that's fine. I prefer right, left, because that's the sticking I wanted to use. I'm not sure what sticking David uses. Anyway, let's hear those 2 bars up to speed. So there you go. Hope you had fun. Don't forget to download both pages of the PDF from my website. The link is beneath this video. Go over to my Facebook page if you want to get that 20% discount off of becoming an online member. You can email me, robert@drumstheword.com, if you've got any questions. And you might want to consider signing up to become an online member with the discount I just offered. Go over to my website. What I offer is 4 years online access for $97 plus your 20% off, and you get access to all 450 famous and popular songs that I've recorded and transcribed. That's full song lessons where I teach the song from start to finish. You get every single bar transcribed, the full PDF drum chart for each of the songs, and like I say, over 450 famous and popular songs. Now I'm sure I've got at least one full Korn song on the website already as well. As a thank you for signing up, I'll give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But any questions about any of that, email me, robert@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.